It almost sounds like a fantasy, but it is entirely real. There are islands in Australia where you can live for free or very close to it. Not cheap, not affordable, but genuinely free under the right arrangements. Across the country, abandoned lighthouse keeper cottages sit empty. Caretaker roles come bundled with accommodation at no cost. On some islands, land is practically handed over because so few people want to live there. Remote communities actively seek new residents. This is not glossy tourism marketing. It is the overlooked reality of Australia's forgotten corners, places where conventional property rules simply do not apply. Most people have been conditioned to believe that all Australian real estate, especially coastal or island property, is unattainably expensive, reserved for millionaires and celebrities. Yet dozens of islands around the country stand abandoned, neglected, or quietly searching for inhabitants. In some cases, governments or landowners offer free housing in exchange for basic caretaking. In others, land costs only a few $1,000s because the remoteness deters buyers. None of it is easy. Isolation is extreme. Still, it is real. To understand how viable this lifestyle truly is, I immersed myself in caretaker programs, abandoned settlements, and remote island communities. I sifted through roughly 25,000 forum posts written by people who have actually done it. Individuals who have lived rent-free on remote islands through creative arrangements. Out of all that research emerged 12 islands offering genuine opportunities to live free or nearly free, provided you accept isolation and basic conditions. Some require light work as a caretaker. Others operate as land grant schemes. A few are so distant that property is almost worthless in the market. In every case, the common thread is simple: no rent. The trade-off, however, is profound. Civilization lies hours or even days away. Medical care may be minimal or non-existent. Conventional employment is scarce or impossible. You must either generate remote income or live with deep self-sufficiency. If you can manage that, these islands present a freedom from housing costs that the mainland rarely allows. Let's begin. Number 12, Woody Island, Western Australia. Located just off Esperance on the southern coast of Western Australia, about a 15-minute boat ride from the mainland harbor and visible from shore, Woody Island is a protected nature reserve. There are no permanent residents. Only rotating researchers and occasional day tour groups visit. The opportunity arises when Parks and Wildlife Western Australia advertises volunteer caretaker roles. These positions, offered sporadically, perhaps once a year, provide completely free accommodation for 3 to 6 months in exchange for 10 to 15 hours of weekly duties such as light maintenance, greeting visitors, and monitoring wildlife. The island safeguards rare species, including quokkas, seabirds, and unique vegetation. Accommodation consists of a simple weatherboard cottage powered by solar panels, with rainwater tanks and a composting toilet. There are no shops or services. You bring every supply from Esperance. The isolation is absolute, interrupted only by tour boats arriving a few times a week. Yet rent, electricity, and water cost nothing. One writer I spoke with spent 6 months there to complete a novel. At first, the solitude felt jarring after city life, but she eventually found it transformative. Over 6 months, she wrote 80,000 words while living rent-free. Weekly trips to Esperance for groceries brought her total expenses to about $3,000 for food. No utilities, no rent. For artists, researchers, or anyone needing focused solitude, it can be extraordinary, if you can handle being alone for months. Number 11, Browse Island, Western Australia. Far off the Kimberley coast, approximately 200 kilometers offshore from Broome, Browse Island is utterly abandoned. Decades ago, pastoral ambitions failed, leaving behind scattered infrastructure. No formal programs exist, and nothing about living there is officially sanctioned. In strict legal terms, occupying the island would not be lawful. In practical reality, its extreme remoteness means monitoring is almost non-existent. Anyone attempting to live there would require total self-sufficiency, solar power, self-installed rainwater systems, and boat supply provisions from Broome. Medical help could be days away. Cyclones regularly threaten the region. Saltwater crocodiles inhabit nearby waters. It is frontier living in the purest sense, dangerous, isolated, and legally ambiguous. Housing costs could effectively be zero, but so is institutional support. Only the most hardened survivalists should even contemplate it. Number 10. Sir Graham Moore Island, Western Australia. Situated along the Kimberley coast, roughly 300 kilometers by water from Darwin, this Crown Land island allows extended camping with permits costing about $200 per year. With approval from traditional owners and park authorities, you can establish a semi-permanent camp. Freshwater springs, fishing, and wildlife provide sustenance. Solar panels supply power. In effect, $200 annually replaces rent. Still, isolation remains complete. No services exist, and crocodiles and cyclones pose real threats. It suits those seeking escape from civilization and comfortable with survival conditions. Number 9. Mornington Island, Queensland. In the Gulf of Carpentaria, about 500 kilometers northwest of Townsville, Mornington Island hosts a community of roughly 1,000 residents, primarily indigenous. The local council offers land at minimal administrative fees, $500 to $1,000, to those willing to settle and contribute. Teachers, nurses, and tradespeople are especially needed. Basic services, including a clinic, shop, and airstrip, exist. Land ownership here can cost less than a month's rent in Sydney. Remoteness and high supply costs persist, but a functioning community supports residents. Number 8. Thursday Island, Queensland. Located in the Torres Strait, about 40 kilometers from the mainland, Thursday Island supports around 2,500 residents. While not universally free, housing can be heavily subsidized for essential workers such as nurses, teachers, and tradespeople. Rents range from $200 to $300 weekly, and some roles include free accommodation. Services, hospital, school, airport with daily flights, make it one of the least isolated options. Island living here blends affordability with functionality. Number 7. King Island, Tasmania. Between Tasmania and Victoria in Bay Strait, King Island's population of about 1,600 continues to decline. Remote land parcels sell for $5,000 to $15,000. Housing assistance for essential workers and discussions of land grants aim to attract residents. Though services like a hospital, shops, school, and airport operate, employment centers on farming, fishing, tourism, and remote work. Harsh Bay Strait weather tests newcomers, but property can be astonishingly cheap. Number 6. Flinders Island, Tasmania. Northeast of mainland Tasmania, Flinders Island has around 800 residents, with numbers steadily dropping. The local council has repeatedly offered free residential land to those committing to build within 2 to 3 years and reside for at least 5. Basic services, a small hospital, shops, primary school, flights to Melbourne and Launceston, exist. Internet access is limited but functional. Wildlife, pristine beaches, and solitude define daily life. For retirees or remote workers, free land here can be transformative. Number 5. Truscott Island Lighthouse, Western Australia. About 1,000 kilometers north of Perth, this automated lighthouse occasionally requires caretakers. Positions lasting 6 to 12 months include free cottage accommodation, solar power, rainwater, and emergency satellite communications. Duties demand roughly 10 hours weekly. Medical emergencies require helicopter evacuation. Yet housing costs remain zero. Number 4. Groote Island, Northern Territory. In the Gulf of Carpentaria, roughly 50 kilometers from the mainland, Groote Island's mining industry offers free company housing to workers. Teachers and healthcare staff also receive government-provided accommodation. Salaries between $100,000 and $150,000, combined with zero housing costs, allow massive savings. A clinic, shops, school, and airstrip provide community infrastructure. Number 3. Macquarie Island, Tasmania. Far into the subantarctic Southern Ocean, 1,500 kilometers southeast of Hobart, Macquarie Island hosts 20 to 40 rotating researchers and staff. The Australian Antarctic Division recruits tradespeople, technicians, cooks, medical officers, and support workers for year-long contracts. Salaries range from $60,000 to $80,000. Accommodation, food, utilities, medical care, and transport are fully covered. Savings can reach 100% of income. Conditions are severe. Temperatures hover around 8 degrees Celsius in summer, Winds exceed 100 kilometers per hour, and isolation lasts a full year. Yet wildlife, king, royal, and rockhopper penguins, elephant seals, and fur seals, creates an otherworldly environment. One carpenter reportedly completed 2 contracts, saved $144,000, and later purchased Tasmanian property outright. Financially, few mainland jobs offer such concentrated savings. Number 2. Lord Howe Island, New South Wales. 600 kilometers east of Port Macquarie, this UNESCO World Heritage-listed island caps residency at around 350 people. Employment must be secured before relocating. Essential workers often receive free or heavily subsidized housing. Despite its remoteness, services include a school, clinic, general store, and daily flights to Sydney and Brisbane. Competition for jobs is fierce, but the lifestyle, pristine beaches, Mount Gower rising 875 meters, and tightly protected tourism is exceptional. Number 1. The rotation strategy. Rather than relying on one island, many people combine multiple opportunities. A year on Macquarie Island might generate $70,000 in savings. Several months caretaking at a lighthouse cost nothing. Development periods on cheap land at King or Flinders Island allow gradual property building. Over 3 years, someone could save $146,000 after modest expenses while owning island land. Compared with mainland rent at $400 weekly, the financial difference becomes staggering. This approach demands mobility, adaptability, and minimal possessions. You never settle permanently. Instead, you rotate strategically, paid positions, volunteer roles, land development phases, eliminating rent entirely while building wealth. The reality deserves honesty. Isolation is intense. Medical emergencies can be life-threatening if evacuation fails. Weather ranges from tropical cyclones to subantarctic gales. Social interaction dwindles. Caretaker roles appear sporadically and remain competitive. Land grants require genuine long-term commitment. Informal occupation carries legal risks. Yet for specific personalities, writers, remote workers, retirees, adventurous tradespeople, this lifestyle works. Thousands already live it successfully. The rewards are real. Zero housing costs, extraordinary natural beauty, profound solitude, and the potential to accumulate savings impossible under constant rent payments. If pursuing this path, research thoroughly. Contact park agencies, email island councils, join forums, and visit first if possible. Do not romanticize the challenges. Base straight winters bite. Tropical humidity suffocates. Subantarctic winds batter. Crocodiles, cyclones, and remoteness are genuine hazards. For those who genuinely fit, however, these forgotten Australian islands offer something radical: freedom from rent, gradual property ownership, and a life shaped by nature rather than mortgages.